2,700 rupees crores, and still counting. But nobody talks about these two. They don't act. They don't appear on screen. One was rejected from cricket. The other almost made it to Hollywood. And together, they built India's biggest film franchise. They are the silent architects. India has seen big film openings. Bahubali 2, KGF Chapter 2, Pushpa 2. But on 19th March 2026, something happened that no Hindi film had ever done. Dhurandhar, The Revenge opened to 240 crore rupees worldwide on day 1 alone. 761 crore in the opening weekend. 1.48 crore tickets on Book My Show, shattering every record in history. One film, one director, one composer. And behind them, one of the most extraordinary partnerships in the history of Indian cinema. To understand how Dhurandhar was made, you have to go back to a cricket ground in Delhi. In the early 2000s, Aditya Dhar was not thinking about films. He was thinking about cricket. He trained hard. He was talented. He wanted to play for India's under-19 team. And then, he was dropped. Not because he wasn't good enough, but because of politics. Nepotism in selections. Someone else got the spot. Someone with connections. He sat with that rejection. And then he watched a film, Gardish. Something shifted. He packed his bags and moved to Mumbai. Not to play. To make films. What followed was 20 years that almost nobody talks about. Aditya Dhar didn't walk into a director's chair. He wrote dialogues. He assisted directors. He worked under Pridarshan for 3 years, one of India's most prolific filmmakers. Pridarshan later said he had a wonderful language. That was his biggest asset. But wonderful language wasn't enough in Bollywood. He wrote scripts. He did the hard work. And again, he wasn't given the credit. Pridarshan put it simply, directors took his research, his hard work, his talent and kept him aside. 20 years. No director's chair. No credit. No debut. Just the work. Patient. Waiting. By 2016, it finally happened. Dharma Productions signed him to direct his debut. Fawad Khan. Katrina Kaif. A massive budget. Everything was in place. And just like that, everything changed. 18th September 2016. 4 gunmen crossed the line of control. They attacked the army base in URI, Kashmir. 19 soldiers were killed. India banned Pakistani artists overnight. Fawad Khan was out. The project Raat Baki was shelved. Aditya Dhar's debut gone. Most people would have walked away. Instead, he turned toward the very event that destroyed his career. He spent 6 months in obsessive research. Meeting army officials, journalists, intelligence sources. He wanted to understand what actually happened during the surgical strikes. Because Aditya Dhar grew up around military families. The army was not an abstraction to him. It was real people. Real sacrifice. URI, the surgical strike released in January 2019. And it became a phenomenon. But then came the question. Journalists called it a propaganda film. And Aditya Dhar answered them directly.
So people who label it as propaganda, I don't care about them. It is as simple as that. I really don't care about them because the whole point is that I know where it's coming from. And Indian audience is actually very, very smart. They are really, really smart. They know a film. जब वो देखते हैं उनको समझ में आता है कि कौन सी फिल्म प्रोपेगेंडा है और कौन सी फिल्म का इंटेंट करेक्ट है. एंड मेरी फिल्म का हमेशा टिल द टाइम आई एम अ फिल्म मेकर और आई एम अ प्रोड्यूसर और आई एम अ डायरेक्टर, द इंटेंट विल बी ऑलवेज राइट. द डे द इंटेंट इज रॉन्ग, आई विल स्टॉप मेकिंग फिल्म्स.
342 crore rupees worldwide. The National Award for Best Direction. And that line, "How's the Josh?" became part of India. Behind every frame of Uri and behind every beat of Dhurandhar is a composer from Jaipur named Shashwat Sachdev.
Better watch your head.
He started learning music at the age of 3. Hindustani classical vocals, Western piano, both at the same time, not as a choice, but as a way of life. He moved to Hollywood, not because India rejected him, but because he needed to grow. He spent years in Los Angeles composing, absorbing the language of international cinema. Then he came back to India and found Aditya Dhar. Their first collaboration was Uri. Both won the national award. A director and a composer bound together by the film that changed both their lives. What makes the Dhar-Sachdev partnership extraordinary is not just that they are both talented. It is how they think. Aditya Dhar does not write a script and hand it to a composer. He writes music into his scripts. Specific emotional moments. Specific sonic cues. The music is imagined before a single note is played. Shashwat Sachdev describes reading a Dhar script like this. His scripts are so alive on the page that they almost score themselves. And Sachdev brings his own philosophy. Music always begins with the writing. The script tells you what it wants to become if you listen closely enough. They are not director and composer working in sequence. They are one creative organism building the same film from two different directions until they meet. That is what the silent architects do. In October 2025, Shashwat Sachdev did something no Indian composer had ever done. He was invited to collaborate with Hans Zimmer, the man behind Interstellar, The Dark Knight, Gladiator, the greatest film composer alive. The project was Vardi, a British crime thriller for BBC One. 3 composers in the room: Hans Zimmer, James Everingham, and Shashwat Sachdev from Jaipur. After it was done, Sachdev said something remarkable. I never once felt out of my comfort zone. And the most extraordinary part, his melodic ideas, the themes he brought to the table, survived intact into the final score. From Hindustani classical training at age 3, to sitting with Hans Zimmer and hearing his music become the final theme. That is a journey. For Dhurandhar, Aditya Dhar didn't just make a film. He hired a real counter-terrorism journalist, Aditya Rajkaul, as a formal research consultant. The geopolitical architecture of Dhurandhar is not invented. It is engineered. Part 1, December 2025. 1,350 crore rupees worldwide. The highest grossing Hindi film ever. 100 days in theatres. And then part 2. 240 crore on day 1. 761 crore in the opening weekend. 31 records broken in 7 days. Banned in 6 Gulf countries, and still smashed everything. Bahubali 2's North America record stood for 9 years. Dhurandhar 2 broke it in 9 days. The Dhurandhar franchise has now crossed 2,700 crore worldwide, the highest grossing Indian film franchise in history. S.S. Rajamouli, the man behind Bahubali and RRR, watched it and said, Aditya Dhar, you hit it out of the park.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are still not ready for this.
Aditya Dhar's wife, actress Yami Gautam, fell in love with him on the sets of Uri. She was asked what made her fall for him. She said, I have never seen him lose his cool. The calm engineer. Dropped from a cricket squad due to nepotism. 20 years writing for others without credit. His debut stolen by a terror attack. He turned all of it, every rejection, every injustice, into the highest grossing Hindi film franchise India has ever produced. And beside him, a composer who started playing music at 3 years old, spent years in Hollywood without forgetting where he came from, and brought India's sound to Hans Zimmer's studio. 2 national award winners. 1 partnership. 1 franchise that has changed what Indian cinema believes it can be. The Silent Architects.